Attendance, please. We'll wait for Terry. Just your being here. All right, so quorum is present. And we have 4 bills on the docket this morning, or 5 bills on the docket this morning. And we will start, I think the staff is ready to present House Bill 105.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee. You should have a substitute in front of you for House Bill 105. This is Delegate Rasul's bill. Oh, here he comes.
Move substitute.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right, the substitute is adopted. Let's get that up in front of us. Does everyone have a copy of it? Yep. And it's on LIS.
Yes, DGS doing the feasibility.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You were substituting somebody great in my place for sure.
She might be more successful than you, Delegate.
I agree. I agree. Oh man, I think we're in a good place. We are trying to build on this blueprint for action, trying to ensure that we take this state-owned property and do the best that we can to envision something that is bigger and broader. You all have heard me talk about the reimagining the Catawba campus. We have broad support, and I believe if someone is here from, the only thing I can add is if someone is here from DBHDS, we heard last night that that they are excited about the project and ready to be in support as well. So I'm happy to take any questions, and I'm thankful to Susan for helping us craft a substitute that more accurately reflects the vision as we move forward.
And do I stand, make sure I make this right, there is money in the budget to probably start the study and stuff that you looking at re-envisioning the campus?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. And there are some folks online that would like to speak in favor of this bill also. So all right. So if let me call the ones on the virtual room first. Is Phil North? Is he on?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Phil North. I'm chairman of the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission and also a supervisor on the Board of Supervisors in Roanoke County, Highlands District. Our regional commission supports House Bill 105 and funding to support a study as proposed. Rates of overdose in our region have increased 42% in 2021. Your support for House Bill 105 is appreciated by our regional commission. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And the next in the virtual room is Peter Beck.
Peter, please unmute your microphone.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. I am the county attorney for Roanoke County, and I am today speaking on behalf of
Go ahead. Did he mute? All right, we'll let him dial back in. I think there is someone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of the bill, please. Come forward and state your name, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Angela Harvell, Deputy Commissioner for Facility Services with DBHDS. I would like to speak in support of HB 105 on behalf of the department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the subcommittee. Katie Boyle with the Virginia Association of Counties. We're here to register our support for this creative approach and supporting our members. Thanks so much.
And good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm Janet Arison with the Virginia Municipal League, and likewise we support what Delegate Rasul and the Roanoke region are trying to do. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Becky Bowers Lanier on behalf of the Substance Abuse Addiction Recovery Alliance, and we are in support of the study as well.
All right, thank you. And I think we also, Peter Lebec has joined us again. Sorry about that, Lebec.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, and I appreciate you taking the time to hear from me this morning. I am the Roanoke County Attorney, and I'm speaking today on behalf of the Roanoke County Board of Supervisors. And as I shared by Mr. North in his recent comments, there is an urgent need in our region to reimagine the Catawba Hospital campus as proposed in this bill. And in addition to the essential mental health treatment, substance abuse is a constant and accelerating problem. We are encouraged at the prospect of public-private partnerships in this reimagining, and we do urge the committee to support this bill. Thank you again.
All right, thank you much. Is there anyone in the room like to speak against the bill? Are there any more questions of the patron?
Mr. Chairman, speaking to the bill.
Let's, Dan,
You have someone else?
Delegate Marshall.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a question for the patron. So currently, the underserved people that, this would fix, how far in the state would patients come to do this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Delegate Marshall. This is truly a regional enterprise, and patients right now, as we see with some of our other state-run facilities, travel across the state. This would be open to anyone who needs support, and we look forward to working with DBHDS and the incoming commissioner to not just invest in programs or capital, but to say we're going to invest in a continuum of care and try to break down some of those barriers with some public-private partnerships.
Yes, sir, Delegate Marshall.
So do we know what the unmet needs are now as far as
Mr. Chair, Delegate Marshall, what we are hearing from law enforcement as well as people from the facility is that, and from the collective response of many of the people that you heard, is that there's a significant unmet need. It's very difficult to quantify exactly in our specific region to figure out who all would be coming. The thing about the Roanoke City in particular and the Roanoke Valley is that it's the largest locality in the western half of the state. So oftentimes what we find is people in need, especially homeless and others who are suffering from substance use disorder, they come to our region for some of those services.
Thank you. Great idea.
Thank you.
Delegate Austin.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say I thank the delegate for bringing this bill. I think this can be a collaboration between the healthcare providers, both HCA and Carilion and Virginia Tech Medical in the Valley. And I think to answer the Delegate Marshall's question, I think this could serve South Side, Southwest, and part of the Valley as a far outreach service facility. And there's definitely a need there for this. So, Delegate, I thank you, and I look forward to supporting this request.
And Delegate Krizik.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to second Delegate Austin's comments and say I really love the visionary reimagining. This is very impressive, and I think in the future it'll be a great benefit to the community down there. And I support this bill too.
Thank you.
All right, the committee
Move
operates
to report.
on motion. All right, we have a motion to report the substitute.
With substitute, I'm sorry.
And properly seconded. Bill reports 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee.
All right. Next on the agenda is House Bill 1049, Delegate Tran.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
Good morning.
You ready? Okay, thank you. So in Virginia, we do not have a common policy or framework to improve language access across our state government. And as such, access to information and services is really uneven. We saw that come to light, particularly in the pandemic, when some of our state agencies used Google Translate to make sure that information about COVID and vaccines were available in other languages. At the same time, we saw, for example, with VEC, that if you did not speak English or Spanish and you dialed the number to make your unemployment insurance claim, it literally hung up on you. So 1049, which passed out of committee with bipartisan support, requires us to establish a work group with stakeholder input to look at language access and make recommendations to the government, as well as for each agency to have a language access coordinator. And the funding we currently have in the governor's introduced budget that could be used for this. The work group is a minimal cost annually. The state staff coordinators would clearly be an ongoing cost.
So, Delegate Trans, I would guess my first question is, so there is money in House Bill 30?
Yes, sir.
To address this, okay. And is this coming from the report that just came out in November?
Absolutely, sir. So you'll recall, Mr. Chair, last year we had, through the budget process, we asked for a report on language access and what the policies are across the state government. Then through the ARPA budget in August, we put in funding to make sure that there was some, contractor support for that study. And so this bill comes from those recommendations.
All right, are there other questions of the committee about this bill? All right, hearing none, is there anyone in the room like to speak in favor of the bill?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and we thank the delegate for bringing up this bill. My name is Christian Martinez. I'm with CASA. I'm an advocacy specialist. We provide service to 10,000 Latino, working class, and immigrant working Virginians, and we very much support this bill. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else in the room like to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone to speak against the bill? All right, it's in the committee's hands. If we want to have more questions or comments, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move to lay the bill on the table.
We have a motion? Second. All right, we have a motion that's properly put before us and properly seconded to lay the bill on the table. The bill is gently laid on the table, 7-0.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, the next bill before us, Delegate Krizik, House Bill 1136.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Virginia Code needs to be updated to reflect the federal recognition of tribes, which has really only occurred in the last 5 years. We have 7 federally recognized tribes. What this commission would do is ensure compliance and consistency with federal Indian law. We just did some preliminary research, and we find that there's revisions to consider in almost every title of the Virginia Code. For example, to make sure Virginia law acknowledges the Indian Major Crimes Act and the Indian Child Welfare Act, we need to account for tribes taking a role in public safety and emergency preparedness. So updating the code will make it easier for the Commonwealth to work together with the tribal nations to leverage benefits of federal recognition for all Virginians. And that's pretty simple, small, 2-year process.
So a question for the patron from myself. So this is just a 2-year cleanup. Is that the way I see it?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's almost like a code commission kind of thing, but it will engage the tribe. Each tribe will have a representative on this as well.
Okay, any other questions for the patron? Anyone would like to speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Marian Werkheiser. I am General Counsel to the Chickahominy Indian Tribe, Chickahominy Indian Tribe Eastern Division, Monacan Indian Nation, Nansemond Indian Nation, Rappahannock Tribe, and Upper Mattaponi Tribe. And I'm here to ask for your support for this. Having 7 federally recognized tribes in the Commonwealth is a really big deal, and the law applying to Indian tribes is very complex. This commission will help Virginia catch up to the recent federal recognition and further develop a productive, harmonious relationship between the tribal nations and the Commonwealth. We would really appreciate your support.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in the audience like to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone like to speak against the bill? All right, the committee, any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I see this bill as being very advantageous to correct and to bring our code up to date, and I would move that we report the bill.
Second.
All right, we have a motion properly seconded on House Bill 1136. We'll go to the voting board. Bill reports 7-0. The next bill up is going to be House Bill 1232. Delegate Robinson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So House Bill 1232 was brought to my attention by one of my constituents. And what it does is it takes the Behavioral Health Commission membership up from 12 to 17. And those 5 new members would be non-legislative members. Currently, it's made up of all legislative members. Though it's a very specific, defined group of people that we would like to see added to the commission. It's one citizen member who is local law enforcement officer serving a jurisdiction located in the Commonwealth. One legislative citizen member is a behavioral health provider providing services in the Commonwealth. One non-legislative citizen member is a certified peer recovery specialist, and 2 members who have received or are receiving services from the Commonwealth. Why do you think this is important is the Deeds Commission, now the Behavioral Health Commission, has kind of been stagnated. And I've talked to some of the members who are serving currently or have served on this commission, and it just is stalled in place. And who better to contribute to the commission but the people who the commission is making decisions for. Our law enforcement have to deal with the TDOs. We hear about that as a constant problem. People who have had lived experiences, who better to bring what that experience is like to the table as well as the people who are serving the folks with mental illness. So that's what the bill does. We did not have a budget amendment, but what we'd like to see, you can see, they would only be reimbursed. These are non-voting members, these 5 members. We'd like to see them reimbursed only for their travel expenses, and at approximately 4 meetings a year, that comes to $7,500 a year. And I'm hoping that, the funds that are part of the commission could actually absorb that, and these members could be added. Thank you.
All right, thank you much. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak in favor of the bill?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Colleen Miller, and I am with the Disability Law Center of Virginia. I hope you'll support this bill with really a tiny price tag to it, but it's going to have an enormous benefit to all of you. As you know, every year, the legislature has to consider really serious proposals about issues involving our mental health services in Virginia. And oftentimes, it's not until we actually get into a room like this where you hear the voices of the people who are most impacted by those changes. So this proposal will bring those people to the table from the very beginning. I think the end result will be that you will have much more carefully considered proposals that you'll have in front of you, and you'll not have this sort of like rush of testimony coming at the very end. I hope you'll support it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Becky Bowers O'Neill, and I'm here on behalf of the Substance Abuse Addiction Recovery Alliance and the Virginia Association of Community Services Boards. We've also concur with the remarks that Delegate Robinson had and Colleen Miller. This is really an important addition to the commission. We've watched the Deeds Commission over the years, and as Colleen indicated, oftentimes the public comments, who are from people usually with lived experience, come at the last 5 minutes of the meeting, and that is just not enough for people who have the lived experience. And also with the Substance Abuse Addiction Recovery Alliance, we support peer recovery specialists in their work with the lived experience helping others. So we really hope that you will approve this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone to speak against the bill? Any questions for the patron?
Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I appreciate Delegate Robinson bringing this bill. This brings experience and knowledge to our board, and these people do not have voting privileges. So I would move that we report the bill.
Second. All right, so we've got a House Bill 1232 has been properly put in before us and seconded. Cast your vote. Bill reports 7-0.
Thank you. Appreciate this a lot.
All right, and the last bill on our docket this morning is going to be HJ 32. Delegate Supermanian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. HA 32 asks JCOTS to study the barriers and opportunities to expansion of the semiconductor industry in Virginia. So you all probably know about the issue and how this is becoming almost a national crisis of sorts. It used to be that we produced almost half the semiconductors in the world, but lately it's been dropped down to 11%. We recently in Prince William County, that I represent, had a Micron come and build a facility there. It's been a huge economic boom to the community. I'd love to see all of your districts have similar opportunities as well. JCOTS did do a section of a white paper alluding to the semiconductor production and the potential opportunities, but it did request that we should potentially study the issue more. And so, this is essentially what we're trying to do here. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, do we have questions from the committee? Yes, sir, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To the delegate, I just would like to know, this is a very important issue, and we appreciate the fact that you've brought this idea forward, but my question to you is whether or not you have a budget amendment already to go along with the cost for the study?
I believe this had an attached budget amendment. It's a placeholder right now. I don't think we've gotten determined fiscal impact quite yet. I defer to the clerk.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, to the delegate.
Yes, sir, Delegate Hayes.
So how much is your budget amendment for?
I believe I put a placeholder of around $50,000. I know in the past JCOTS has estimated studies like this can be $20,000 to $30,000. I don't know if JCOTS could absorb this, so that's why I put it just a placeholder, just in case.
Okay, Delegate Alston.
Mr. Chairman, personally, I think this bill would have been better had it gone to the Studies Committee of Rules, because that's typically where bills go that we send to JCOTS. Delegate.
It did go there, and that was referred here.
It did go there and was referred here?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask that this bill be gently laid on the table, and I think if JCOTS would choose to study the bill, they can do so. The fiscal impact is something that we're just uncertain about this time, Delegate. But it's a great idea, I thank you, and it'll get there, I promise you. I think it'll get there. So I ask that the bill be gently laid on the table.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to lay the bill on the table. House J 32. The bill is laid on the table 7-0.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. And that concludes our work today. The committee shall rise.